How many snaps for you in the preseason do you feel like you need at this point in your career to be ready come opening day?
How many do I need? However many the coach feel like I need, honestly. Personally, I'm ready for this season already. You know, I think for me, getting a really good grasp of the defense, then it's about really getting in shape. But for me, I try to get every single day I come out to practice, every rep, I try to make sure I'm getting in shape, running to the ball, doing all the little things. So for me, I'll be ready to play a game tomorrow, honestly. But however many reps the coach, Coach Matt feel like I need to get in the game in the preseason, that's how many I need.
Matt was just kind of saying the same thing, that he's ready to go now. At what point in an NFL player's career does it get like that, where it's like, let's skip all this stuff and get to the games?
Yeah, I don't know at what point, because I think for every player is a little bit different. I would just say for me, speaking for myself, probably I would say maybe after year 3 or 4. You know what I mean? Because obviously I feel like when you're a rookie, you really want to be able to go out there and kind of get those ramp-up games and things like that. Second year, I kind of felt a little bit of the same. But at that point, it's like, I started to play 1,000 snaps a year and things like that. It's like, okay, I know what it feels like to be in the game. I've been in almost every situation there is to be in. So, like I said, you get to a veteran player, you understand it's really all about learning the defense. Once you feel like you communicate and learn defense, like, I know how to tackle. You know what I'm saying? I know how to cover. I know how to do all those things. So let's go in and play a game. And I'm not necessarily saying that preseason reps aren't valuable, because they are. Anytime you can touch the grass is valuable. So, but like I said, I feel like every team is different, every coach is different, every player is different. So it's all based on, every individual situation.
Where are you guys at with your communication on the back end?
I think we're pretty good. It's still a work in progress. I don't think we're not there yet. But I think every secondary was saying the same thing. Like I said, it takes until you get into those games. You know what I'm saying? Right? If it's preseason or in-season games, there's always going to be things every single game that you had to fix, that you had to continue to work on. That's why in training camp we have walkthroughs every night, because we kind of go over the practice of the day, go over some plays that kind of gave us some trouble, because we're going to see different things every week against every team, because every offensive coordinator is going to have some different wrinkles and things like that. So, but I feel like as far as the communication and the meetings that we're having are really good. And I think that's always a good precursor of how the season's going to go as far as how we're meshing together.
You've mentioned other players, other teammates you've had that you that you felt good about, something like that. But this group that you're with now, a bunch of young guys, really ambitious. Is there anything? Is there anything different about them? Anything that strikes you about them as the guys around you that lead to the optimism about this defense being special?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that for the younger guys, like you spoke of, whether it's Tyreek, Brisker, and Kyler, it's more of a unique situation because all these guys are young, but they've all played a lot. A lot of times you go into a lot of situations, you have a couple of veterans, and you usually have maybe 1 or 2 young guys who haven't really played a lot. For these guys, they have a lot of confidence because they have a whole year under their belt, 2 years, 3 years. Then obviously Jalen, who's obviously a Pro Bowl guy. So I think that's the biggest thing. So it's more about just the youth and the energy that they bring every single day in practice and even in meetings. So I don't really even look at them as young guys anymore. You know what I'm saying? They're actually veterans. But like you said, they're young. They don't have a ton of miles on their legs, I would say.
You have to play with confidence, as you know. I mean, it's not unusual. But these guys are so ambitious about being all-pro, about being the best. I mean, I don't know. What do you think about that, just as a personality? It just seems like this secondary has a personality.
Yeah, I would think that if you didn't have those aspirations, what are you really playing for? You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the team goals is always to win a Super Bowl, right? But let's be real, every player has their own personal goals, whether if it's stats that you want to put up, whether if it's, getting to your first Pro Bowl, getting your first All-Pro. That's what you work in the summertime and the spring to try to, when you're doing drills by yourself, that's what you're trying to get to. So I think that if they didn't have those aspirations, then there'll have to be a real conversation I would have with those guys. Like, hey, don't you see that in yourself? Like you said, a guy like Jaquan, I know he wants to be great. And I think you have to see it first to be able to accomplish it. So, and rather if they always say shoot for the moon and, you'll land amongst the stars. So you have to set your goals really, really high. And not necessarily saying they can't achieve them, because I think every guy in this room has the ability to be a Pro Bowl and be an All-Pro. But you have to set those goals high before you can go and accomplish them.
I saw you mentioned on Twitter the other day there was a Caleb throw
Mm-hmm.
that you were kind of coming across at the end. And
right.
I was wondering actually when that play happened if you would have made the play in a game, because it seemed like it was bang bang.
No, 100%. It was I think it was during a 2-minute drill. We was in a high red zone. They caught us in cover 2, and he threw a really good hole shot. It was like a 4-vert play. It was a bang bang play, and like I said, and that's when I tweeted. I said it was a hell of a throw because he actually inside released, but he got back out to like the red line. And I don't want to get into like the scheme and how we were supposed to play it and things like that. But if I were going to be able to make that play, it would have had to be a bang bang play because I would tell you now the way he threw the ball and kind of how it went, I want to be able to pick it off. You know what I mean? It would have to be me take a good angle and just try to knock the guy out versus then try to go to interception. And during the practice, I really was trying to stick my hand out there because obviously I'm running towards the guy and I didn't want it to be a full speed collision. So I just try to throw my hands out there. Hopefully I can knock the ball down. And that's kind of how it went. Obviously you got a lot of Twitter defensive coordinators and stuff like that kind of saying what would have happened or whatever. But for me, that's why sometimes when you post practice highlights, not necessarily of the team, but just anybody, you post practice highlights, you don't really get a full context of what happened. Like, it's not like you got like the all 22 film so you can kind of see exactly, what the release was, what the corner was doing and all those things. But yeah, it would have had to be the bang bang play if I'd have made a play on the
I'm
ball.
always curious about that, being a defensive player at some of these practices where you got the fans in attendance, they want to see offense, they want to see these touchdowns.
100%.
Yet you can't quite go full 100% on some of those plays. What's that like when maybe there's a play that happens that fans go crazy, but you're actually like, I think the defense might have had that one?
Yeah, I mean, offense sells tickets. You know what I mean? Like, that's what most of these fans want to come out here and see. They want to see Caleb. They want to see Rome, Keenan, DJ. They want to see those big plays. For me, as a player who's been in these leagues for a while, you have to know how to practice. You know what I mean? Like, every single one of those guys we need. So it was a situation today where Keenan ran a real wild, like a double move on me, and I was running towards the ball, and I looked up, and I seen the ball, but as Keenan was falling towards the sideline, like, I could have easily reached up or try to punch the ball through him, but in my eyes, I would have had to really go through him, and didn't even have no pads on. I probably would have fell on him. He might have hit his shoulder. I don't know if you guys seen Keenan out of shoulder pads, but he has like these AC joints that's sticking up or whatever. And I don't want to fall on his shoulder or nothing like that. But it's certain plays in practice where I feel like as a veteran, you have to know how to practice. You have to know how to protect your teammates because we're going to need Keenan to have a big year. So in certain situations, there are times to go up and make a play on the ball. And in certain situations, it's time to, hey, this guy, he's working on his stuff. He made a catch. The crowd went crazy. But in the game, we would have both, even if he'd have made the catch, we definitely would have both fell to the ground. I've been trying to fight for the ball and get the ball out. So it's just certain situations in practice, like you said, you have to know how to practice. Real athletes never touch the ground in practice. That's always my deal.
Is that the touchdown that he caught?
Yeah, on the sideline.
Right, yeah.
It was on the sideline, exactly. Like you said, it was like right on the front pylon. Like you said, we was kind of in phase together. But like I said, just in certain situations where it can be a situation we both can fall and hit the ground. Like, I'm not about to just try to, we both been in the league for a while. We're both going to need to be out here and play games. So we'll save those for live action reps for sure.
Is that how you go your whole career without missing practice? Some of the decisions like that where you try to be smart about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's those decisions. It's a little bit of God blessing me. It's a little bit of how I take care of my body. It's a lot of different factors that go into that. But like I said, just speaking in that situation, like I said, for me, it's just knowing how to practice. Like I said, in practice, especially when you have shorts on, shouldn't nobody really be touching the ground. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of situations like if the offense fumbles the ball, it shouldn't be offensive guy diving at the ground. Like, let the defense have it. Let them scoop. Let them work on, taking it to the house. There's just certain ways that we should practice as teammates because I know we're going out here competing. We're trying to get better. We're trying to, we're competing against each other, but it becomes a point where sometimes you should let the offense have it and sometimes you should let the defense have it.
Does that ever lead to some back and forth with the coaches where, they might say, hey, why didn't you make this play? Where you're just like, I'm just trying to protect my teammate?
Yeah, I mean, and I also in that situation, I think it is a little different for everybody. Because I would think, sometimes for a young guy that's fighting for a roster spot, he's probably going to do whatever he has to do to make that play. Like I said, that's just speaking for me personally. I know I can make those plays, and I know that sometimes especially for the offense, especially he's a guy that, we're going to need as a 1,000-yard receiver. I mean, he's going to be a big part of our offense. Sometimes certain things aren't really worth it, and just in my opinion.
Kevin, from your perspective, I know you're not in the huddle or anything, but how is the offense coming along?
I mean, Caleb has made crazy strides since spring up until now. Just been watching him in the huddle, watching the operation, watching how he's getting the offense in and out the huddle. Whether if it's hurry up, 2-minute, first down, first and second down, third down, I think he's making tremendous strides. I think if he came up here and told you, he'll probably still say they're a work in progress. Honestly, I think the defense is still a work in progress. I think all 32 teams are in a work in progress. So I'm pretty sure he's very excited to get out there, whether if it's the preseason, how many reps he's going to play in the preseason, or whether he gets to the first game. I know he's going to be excited to go out there and try to put the work that he's put in from the spring up until now, into a game. So I'm excited. I'm excited to watch him for sure. So, but like I said, he's making some really great improvements. But as overall as the offense, man, you see every single day we're kind of going back and forth. Kind of early in training camp, defense is kind of winning a lot of those days. But that's usually normal. Normally the defense is ahead of the offense, especially when you got a new offense, new quarterback. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, of course. Have a good one.
Were you surprised by the way the kickoff, went the other night? Did you think maybe somebody'd spring one?
Not necessarily surprised. When you're trying out something new, it's always, got to iron out the wrinkles and everything. But I do think it's going to be really good for a special teams unit in the long run. I think you'll get a lot of big returns, especially earlier in the season while teams still trying to, figure out the rules and everything like that. But first time out there, I guess you kind of got what you expected.
Did you know that a punter could go hold the?
Yeah, then they got to run right off or something like that. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I didn't know that until the game actually, but yeah.
What was your biggest takeaway of the play as you're watching it right in front of you?
Honestly, just from a return standpoint, the kicking unit is all on one level. So it's kind of like if you get past the first line, it's just the kicker left, which I love, of course, But it's also, it's also like, it's a tough block for the return team because you got to hold that block longer than the old style, which is tougher, obviously. But as a returner, I think it's a way you can kind of manipulate the coverage a little more to make a cut and, try to make a play.
How eager are you to try it out?
Very excited. Very excited.
Had you seen it on TV at all before?
Just a couple. I got a couple of friends that played in like the XFL and stuff, and so just watching that, and so I've seen it before, and obviously studying it, getting ready for our season and stuff like that. So yeah, I've seen it.
Reach out to them, or was it just watching them?
Just watching, and then we got like all the film and stuff from all the XFL games, so I've been breaking that stuff down. Yeah.
What have you liked about your receiver reps so far?
I think we all just, for me, just getting in a new offense, just learning terminology, learning, the timing of everything. Just taking advantage of the ones that I do get, trying to make a play when the ball comes to me.
How would you describe catching a Tory Taylor punt?
Tory Taylor punts. He's got a little bit of a different spin on it than a normal righty, I would say. A lot of hang time, really a lot of hang time. I wouldn't say, it's look, other than the spin, it's just, get to the spot and catch the ball, but he's going to be really good, really, really good.
What does that spin do to you?
So really all it is like as a returner, with a normal righty, when the ball turns over, it's going to fall to my left. Tory has a ball where it looks like it's turning over, but then it's almost like it dies and comes back, spins to the right. So you kind of got to keep your feet moving. Once you see it a couple times, like you kind of know it's coming. But if you haven't, it kind of catch you off guard because you're moving to the left and you got to move to the right at the last minute. So, yeah.
DeAndre, you were with Coach Beatty in LA.
Yeah.
What's his kind of impact been on your career? What's it been like to be back with him?
It's been great. Been great being back with Coach Beatty. That's my guy. Probably one of the reasons why I'm back here again now. I had my best year in my career in LA with Coach Beatty as my receiver coach. I think just over the years, through that year, and just we kept in contact last year. I think we've built a level of trust within each other. He knows that I'm gonna be on top of my stuff. He knows that, primarily my role has been throughout my career. If something happens on game day, somebody goes down or whatever it is, I've kind of been that guy to kind of step in and fill in all the spots. And he knows that I can do that, and I can do that well. I did that for him in LA. And so I think it's kind of just we've built that level of trust with each other. And obviously, like, a familiar face is always welcoming when you're coming into a new organization. So me and Beatty, we got a really good relationship. That's my guy.
Couple more
Is
guys.
learning and installing this offense any different than any other offense you've learned and installed? Is it just the same, or is there any way to tell if you guys are getting it or not? I mean, is this pretty standard, or is there any indications that show you that this?
It's pretty standard. I mean, for me, I've been played in a number of offenses in my career, so I wouldn't say it's been more difficult than any other one to learn. I think that for us is just it's always a learning curve when you got when it's something new, and then you throw trying to read the defense into it and all the things like that. So it's a little bit of a learning curve. I don't think it's been any tougher than any other place that I've been. It's just we got to get down, hone in on the details. I mean, we're on week 2 of camp. You know what I mean? You're going to have, bad days or, things like that. We're not supposed to be perfect on now or if we be ready for the Super Bowl this week. You know what I'm saying? It's not how it goes. That's what camp is for, to iron out the wrinkles and get on the same page and figure out who can do what and the details and how, Shane wants things run. And that's what we're doing right now.
What do you like about playing with Caleb so far?
Kid's special, I'm not gonna lie. Having a guy that can get you the ball regardless of what spot that you're in or kind of like where he is, he's got all the arm angles and like that. But knowing you got a guy that can get you the ball when the ball is supposed to be there definitely makes it easier for you as a receiver. And then just being able to see all the different throws that he's been able to make, arm angles and things like that is very special. What I've been most impressed about him, though, for sure, is just how engaged and wanting to get better he's been. Speaking on learning a new offense, like for a kid coming from college where it's mostly hand signals and, you're on the ball a lot, having to get in the huddle and call the play, how fast he's come along and been able to pick that up. And translated it to on the field, just like any quarterback, you're going to have ups and downs with it, but how fast and how engaged he's been and wanting to get better has been very, very exciting to see. Like once he gets full control of the offense and gets comfortable in it, I always say he's going to be one of them ones for sure. Yeah.
Thanks, Andy.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
What's been your evaluation and how well the offense has gelled or built their chemistry so far?
I think it's been good. I mean, we've had some off days here and there, but I think I've actually been pleasantly surprised in how we started off camp. I thought Caleb came in ready to go in terms of operating the whole thing from the huddle to the cadence. We've had some hiccups along the way, but I think we've been able to adjust, and I think things have been going good so far, and I think we're trending in the right direction.
Cole, what are some of the things you look at in a practice? Like if we don't see touchdowns necessarily, what
Yeah.
are some of the things that you look at that tell you we're making progress?
Well, execution's number one. Guys going to the right spots, lining up in the right areas, breaking the huddle correctly. So all those things are really important, and that's kind of what we're looking at right now operationally. And I think we've had some hiccups here the past couple of weeks with that, but I think when you get to post snap stuff, Caleb has been pretty special, and you see why he's the number 1 overall pick when he's been able to make some of these throws that he's making. So. We just got to continue to hone in on this operation and making sure that, we get our cadences right and all the snap counts and lining up correctly and, all those things. So, if we just get to that point, get to the post-snap stuff, I think we'll be pretty good.
Caleb, as you're standing on the sidelines during the Hall of Fame game, watching Griffin and Sweeney kind of tear it up in the middle of the field, is there any part of you that goes like, I can see myself doing this?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you also got, it's very vanilla. You're going against a team that we're playing in, I think, week 2. So, they're probably playing their base stuff. We're running our base stuff. So, but it was cool to see all those guys do really well. And, Brett obviously had a great night in terms of executing the offense and doing all those things. And, that's good for everybody to see when things like that are clicking. And, when you get in those preseason games, you just want to make sure that you're operating well. And I think that was the case the other night.
How much time do you need in the preseason to feel like you're ready for the regular season?
I think at this point, I feel like I'm ready now. But I also understand – you get new teammates in and out, and it's important to kind of go through the game day operation with those guys and, kind of get the flow and the rhythm with them. So obviously with a rookie quarterback, that'll be important for us to do. And whether that's, new guys up front with the offensive line, making sure you get calls across the line. That's very big, and, you can't really replicate in that. It's very hard to replicate in practice. So getting game time and game reps with that will be important. So, but in terms of like game shape and all those things, I think kind of at a point where I feel like I know how to get ready for a game and get in shape for a game. And so on that end, I feel pretty good about it.
Cole, is there anything from being in Canton, growing up a Bears fan, that stood out to you the last few days that just was special while you were there?
Yeah, I mean, it was cool just to go see the Hall of Fame when we got in there. Seeing the Steve McMichael stuff was really cool for me. That was my dad's favorite player growing up, so it was cool to kind of see all that go down and see his jersey in the Hall, and then be able to see all the different busts up there was really cool. So definitely a cool moment. Obviously, a lot of history that resides there, and obviously not fun reporting early to camp, but it was cool to kind of experience that whole Hall of Fame experience. It was fun.
You talked about how, you feel like you're already ready for preseason, how you feel like you're ready for the season, already in shape. How different is this from your first year in the NFL? When you're a rookie, you're not used to the hustle and bustle of how it goes.
Yeah. You're probably not really ready till year 2, so it takes the full year. At least for me, I thought it did. So, and for most rookies, I think it does. Yeah, I mean, that first year you're really swimming, and it's hard to kind of get things going, and it makes it easier when you got guys to rely on and lean on. And I had a guy like Jimmy, as I've mentioned before, countless of times, and I was kind of able to lean on him throughout my rookie season, and he was able to keep me grounded and keep guiding me along the way and make things a little bit easier. But that first year's tough. It's a long year. You go from the end of your season right into combine prep, into draft stuff, right into the building, and then right into camp. It's a lot of stuff coming at you at once, and you just got to kind of learn how to deal with it throughout the way.
Do you feel like you became sort of how Jimmy was to you, to younger players?
I try to be, yeah, for sure. I mean, we still got a little bit of an older group, but I try with the guys we got, whether it's now we got Brennan Bates, and trying as best as I can to help those guys out and help them through it. And it's a big jump going from college to pro, so mentally and physically. So just trying to help them got through that, and especially during this time of year.
You still have somebody in the room who's a good 15 years older than you?
Yeah, I think he's like 40. It was funny. He was just telling me the other day how old he was. Yeah.
What have you learned from your time with him?
Oh man. I mean, perspective on life, how to handle yourself outside of football. I think that's been really cool to learn. Just how he gets away from the game in the off season, and it helps him become so motivated during the season. And I think learning things in the run game that I've never learned before from a tight end has been really cool. And obviously all the experiences he had. It's funny, we were talking the other day. My question was how different, what's changed the most about the NFL from when he first got into now. And he's like, well, I had to block guys like that, and he's pointing to Julius Peppers on the sideline. He goes, those guys don't run around too often. No, it's just the different body types that he's had to go against throughout his career from year 1 to now, and how the game has changed so vastly, really from a big ground and pound to now all air raid type of stuff. So it's cool to get his perspective on the game and how it's changed over the years.
Wearing a Julius Peppers jersey?
I was. I walked in with that one. Yeah.
What led to you making that decision to rep him?
I have to be honest, it was handed to me, so I didn't get to make the decision. I would have probably done the McMichael if I had to choose. Nothing against Peppers, but no, that one was given to me. I was still honored to rep it, though. That was cool.
What does your dad say in terms of why McMichael was his favorite player?
Yeah, he likes when he talks about McMichael, it's always about he wasn't I guess Hampton was the good-looking guy and the sacks, and obviously Richard Dent had all the sack, him and Hampton, but McMichael was just kind of the lunch pail guy in the middle, grinder, that brought a ton of attitude, and he always was drawn to that. So that was pretty cool to hear.
Was he a wrestling fan?
He was, yeah. I grew up a little bit of a wrestling fan as well. Yeah, so I think that my dad wrestled also in high school, so I'm sure that played into it as well.
Well, you and I think, DJ, were pretty upbeat, if not optimistic, about the notion that this offense can hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Week 1, has anything about Shane's offense that you've seen in the last couple of weeks given you any more of a point of, where you could see it either happening or not, or maybe put the brakes on it, or just,
Well, I think I've been really happy with our run game in camp, and I know that's you don't really get to see maybe from your guys' perspective, just because it's not to the ground tackling, so you guys don't see what we're kind of seeing on the film room. But I've been really happy with that. I think that's looked really well, and obviously Caleb's done some really cool stuff. And I think Shane, when we were watching the game the other day, I just like how he flowed plays together, and made a lot of sense to me, and how he was calling the plays, and so that was really cool to see. And like I said at the beginning with Shane, I think he's a really great teacher. Guys have been really bought into his process, and I still see that happening. I do. We still got a lot of time here in camp. What is it, August? It's only August 3rd still. And that's freaking crazy. So only August 3rd, so we got a good month still before that first game, so we got a lot of time to get this thing right, and a lot of practice reps to get through all this. And but I like where it's going. I can really say that, yeah.
We're feeling your pain on the timeline.
Yeah.
Cole, you talked about there being hiccups and stuff in the recent practices.
Yeah.
Are you a guy that goes to the huddle, try to address those things, or are you kind of letting the quarterbacks take over and do it?
You want to let Caleb kind of handle that and let him deal with that. You don't want to be the guy in the huddle, always correcting him on what the play call maybe should be. You got to let him kind of, in my opinion, kind of let him go through that and figure that out. And he does a good job at making those corrections. So it's cool to see how that kind of bothers him a little bit when he doesn't get it right, and he's able to correct it, pretty quickly. So yeah, he's going through that, and we got to let him go through those kind of growing pains of the operation of the huddle. And we're getting a lot of reps throughout camp, so I think he's been doing really well so far. But just the more he does it, the more reps he gets at it, the better and better he'll be.
Seeing DJ get extended, does it feel like, wow, like I know I'm going to have this guy, I know I'm going to have that guy, just maybe more solid than it's ever felt?
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, it's cool to see, just happy for DJ as a friend, first of all. It's really cool for him and his family, and awesome that he gets to, for sure be around here for a little while. So yeah, I mean, I think we got a pretty good core, and it looks like it's solidified here for the next few years at the very least, and definitely excited about where this can go.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.